Now, just real quick, you said it doesn't solve the problem. So the problem, in my opinion, from my viewpoint, is that this always trying to create more money. So I'm curious, you've mentioned Keynesian, you've mentioned MMT. I'm curious kind of your viewpoint on that. Keynesian economics, where we can just print and we stimulate, versus like an Austrian model where really we have sound money. We don't have this supply that constantly expands. Where do you see on those two levels?
I'm an Austrian by belief in the business cycle. I think we've just got too far. We had that debt super cycle, and we can't pretend it's not there.
Right,
so
we are where we are.
You can be an Austrian economist all you like right now, and you're going to blow up the world. You're going to drive the biggest economic destruction of all recorded history if you decide to become an Austrian and say, fine, we'll just let the business cycle deal with it. We can't. So it is what it is right now.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with it? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people who will point the fingers of blame at everybody. The answer is we don't know. And the central banks don't know. Everybody's trying to figure something out. But one thing we have got, the most powerful thing, is Bitcoin just exists.
Right.
We've got something to get us out of this, that we can sidestep whatever mess this becomes. It might all work. Maybe they create another 30, 40 years of prosperity. We don't know. But I'm really uneasy, as is everybody else around the world, in how this plays out. But Bitcoin is that gift, right? It's the gift, the life raft that can save us from all of this, because we can sidestep it.
Yeah, so that's I wanted to jump into that. You actually made a video where you talked about Bitcoin being a life raft. So we have this ship, if you want to call it that, that's heading into turbulent water, and we don't know which way it's going to go. And we can decide to stay on for the ride, or we could decide to hop on a life raft and just kind of sidestep the whole thing. Is that kind of how you see it?
Yes, I do. Because of the nature of the world is going digital. So Bitcoin is the native digital thing that drove all of that change in the first place. It's almost perfect in its construction as a store of value. Whether it is as a means of payment, we can argue about that all day. But as a store of value, as collateral, it's amazing, because the world's collateral system right now is US Treasuries. The problem is the US can issue as many of them as they want.
Right.
At lower and lower rates. The more they issue, the more the rates go down, really. And the currency itself, once you issue more and more of that, devalues over time. So it's actually not a great reserve asset. And what happens in times of economic stress is it should be harder. You should be able to lend out your collateral for more money, but look at treasury yields. Right. They go lower in a recession. Right. So you get less money for lending out your treasuries in a recession. So it kind of doesn't function. Well, Bitcoin, that's a whole different game, because it's a private market not driven by a central bank, and it has the limited supply feature, which means that in a recession when money's scarce, if I want to borrow your Bitcoin, you're going to charge me for it.
Exactly.
Now the monetary mechanism works. Okay, that's great. Bitcoin doesn't have a yield curve yet, so we're nowhere near there. There needs to be a time value of money within Bitcoin, but it's coming. It's this, and therefore, as a pristine collateral where you can't be printed more of, it can't be messed around with, that is a very, very valuable asset for anybody. And to sidestep that system in something as perfect as this is amazing.